Hello everybody, my name is Mark, this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So this is a follow-up to my Pizzagate video last week, because there have been new developments in this story. As I'm sure you've all heard over the weekend, a gunman armed with a assault rifle and a pistol, right, walked into the Comet Pizza shop and fired off a round and said that he wanted to self-investigate. Right. Which by that, I guess he means investigate himself. You know, not investigate himself, but to personally investigate. You know? Anyway, he wanted to investigate the shop and see if there were any children being held captive there. And after, you know, he fired a round into the floor or whatever, or ceiling or something to get everybody's attention, they took him around the shop and he found no evidence of children being hidden or, you know, tied up or whatever, or being abused. And he surrendered peacefully to the cops. So, holy wow, folks. I mean, here's the thing, all right. You know, fake news has ramifications, okay? But this isn't fake news in the way that those sort of Facebook, you know, clickbaity titles are that you'll see where those guys are making money off of it. This is a full-blown conspiracy theory which can lead to people getting hurt, you know. I mean, if this guy would have been just a little bit more unhinged, lots of bad things could have happened there, okay? And it's just, this is what happens when you know, people just go off the deep end and there's no counter voice to, you know, give some fucking reason to the conversation. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that this has gotten this far, you know, and it's just, you know, what I mean, here's the thing is that, I mean, for weeks now, this Comet, you know, pizza shop, it's been vandalized, right? The guy who owns it has been getting death threats, right? He's been getting harassed online. All of this shit's been happening. No one's doing anything about it, right? And now it's like a guy walked in there with a gun, and it's just absolutely like insane to me, you know, how people can just like let shit like this get out of control, you know. And this isn't really the first time it's happened, you know. If you remember the Boston City bombing, right, you know, the 4chan and Reddit got together, decided they were gonna, like, you know, they were gonna like solve this, you know, find out who was responsible, and they went through photos and shit like that, and they all fixated on this one guy because he had a backpack and he looked slightly Muslim or whatever, and it turned out to not be him. Right? And in the meantime, they like ruined this guy's life. You know, this poor dude who was just there minding his own business just because he happened to have a backpack. And, you know, here's the thing is that, you know, police, when they investigate shit, they actually go out and follow up leads. They actually get proof and evidence and, you know, statements and all of that shit, right? Well, when you're at home on your computer going through, you know, JPEGs and shit that you got off of some dude's Instagram, that's not really investigating, that's speculating, all right? There is no proof of Pizzagate, okay? There is zero proof of it, right? Every time I try to talk to some guy who's telling me about this shit and he says, go investigate yourself, they never ever offer any proof. For example, there was I was just in a, you know, asked a dude yesterday online, and he sent me a link to a flight manifest, you know, that John Podesta was on this airplane, and apparently this plane was like, the guy who like chartered this flight got convicted of child molestation or some shit like that. And it's sort of like, well, how does this prove that John Podesta is a child rapist, right? It doesn't. Okay, it proves that he was on an airplane owned by a child rapist, right? Well, that's not the same fucking thing, okay? That's not proof of, you know, that's guilt by association, okay? And that's the problem with conspiracy theories and shit like that, is that there's no actual real proof. It's all speculation. They draw lines between things that don't exist, you know. They make connections with things that are just not connected in real life. And one thing compounds upon the other, and then suddenly, you know, a normal pizza shop that happens to be owned by like a gay person who was the ex-lover of a guy who was connected politically. For some reason, that's become an evil satanic sex dungeon where they kidnap children from Haiti and like do sex magic rituals to fucking feast on their like bones and shit. You know, it's absolutely, you know, that it's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous that people can believe shit like this, you know. And here's the thing is that, you know, out of every group of people, there's one or two who are just a little bit unhinged. You know, there's always a couple of people that take it a little bit too far and they act up and they do shit like this. They go into a fucking pizza shop with a gun, you know. And this isn't the first time this kind of thing has happened. I mean, if you think, you know, that whole baby parts thing with Planned Parenthood, right? For weeks and weeks, there was like this story, this conspiracy theory that was, you know, the difference was this was in the mainstream news, right? Where they were like blaming, you know, Planned Parenthood of you know, chopping up abortions and selling the fucking parts to people, and it got on, and the same kind of conspiracy was out there. You know, the people from the Alex Jones people saying that they were being sold and like they were using it to fucking, they were eating the fetuses and shit. And a guy went crazy and went into a Planned Parenthood and shot it up, you know, and killed a couple people. It's like, how does shit like this happen? You know, the same thing like that Dylan Roof guy, if you remember, you know, he got radicalized on the internet, right? He went into a black church, went to a Bible study, you know, sat through the Bible study for an hour, right? And listened to everybody preach about God and Jesus and shit, and then decided to shoot 9 people, right? That guy admitted that he radicalized himself on the internet by going to websites and listening to people talk about this shit. You know, talk about conspiracy theories about how black people were fucking causing all the crime in the country and etc. You know, talking about fake news stories about how black people rape women and, you know, crap like that, and how white women get raped by black men and all this other shit. And that drove him, you know, over the edge, and he went and did it. And that's what happens when people, you know, don't investigate things on, yeah, that's what happens when people buy it hook, line, and sinker, and there's no counter voice to actually counter the lies, right? To debunk conspiracy theories, to actually say, no, this is not fucking true. This didn't happen. All right, Hillary Clinton is not eating babies, right? She doesn't have fucking mad cow disease. She doesn't have Kuru. You know, John Podesta is not like raping children on airplanes, right? There is no sex dungeon beneath the fucking, like, you know, pizza shop. There's no tunnels under the pizza shop. The fucking, you know, logo and shit is not a pedophile logo. All right. All the logos on the rest of the street are not pedophile logos either, right? They're not black magic magicians. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you know whose fault this is? It's the fucking people like Alex Jones. It's his fault. Alex Jones, Jim Mars, right? All of the people out there that make money, right, from paranoia and conspiracy theories, right? Here's the thing, right? I don't know about Alex Jones. He's a little bit unhinged, right? He might actually believe this shit, but the rest of the guys, they don't, okay? People like Jim Mars, people like, you know, what's fucking George Norrie, right? They don't actually believe this shit's true, okay? They don't. They make money from it, all right? And you know what? Because they're entertainers, okay? And here's the thing is that I think sometimes it can be fun to kind of delve into this stuff, right? You know, like I said before in my other videos, I'm kind of a conspiracy expert. You know, I know I've like read a lot about this shit, right? And it's precisely because I've actually read it all for myself that I know it's all not true. I know it's an industry, right? They make money from this stuff, okay? They go on the news, right? Not the news. They go on a show like Coast to Coast AM or Alex Jones, right? They give a segment about what they're investigating, right? What they're really not investigating shit. They're making it up, okay? They're basically taking crap from, you know, stuff that happened and then speculating about it and making up, you know, all of this baloney, right? And then they're writing about it in a book and selling the book to you. And it's just the same as any other author that goes on any other show to promote their book, all right? It's all about making money. People don't understand this shit, okay? There is no fucking, you know, there are no aliens, right? In Area 51, it's like, I want there to be aliens, all right? I'm the first person to admit that. I want there to be aliens, right? I want there to be Bigfoot. I want there to be conspiracies, right? Because it's, you know, it somehow makes the world a more, you know, interesting place if things like this are true. Okay, if there really are time portals and there really are satanic cults and there really are like monsters, right? And if there really are like, you know, stealing rooms of you know, smoky room filled rooms of like bankers and shit controlling everything, right? It makes the world a lot more black and white. It gives a villain right, to fight against, right? It makes it seem like, you know, the world is more like fucking, you know, Batman or something, right? It puts everything in a more cut and dry perspective. Good, evil. Those are the bad guys. We're the good guys. We can go fight them. Real life is not like that, okay? Real life is like everyone is, you know, has different motivations, and even the people that you think are evil are not really, you know, evil, all right? Because there really is no evil, okay, out there. But that's a subject for a different video. Anyway, got off on a tangent. So just want to come back and say, you know, if you out there believe this shit, or if you have a friend that believes in this shit, you know, please don't give up on them. Try talking to them, right? And it can be frustrating because this shit is like a religion. You know, the whole conspiracy theory thing. It's basically like talking to a Christian or something who was just evangelical, you know, who was just converted, you know, and it can be extremely frustrating. Don't give up on them. Don't let them go nuts, all right? Because that's what'll happen. They'll, you know, the deeper you go into this shit, the more paranoid you become, right? And you either wake up one day and realize it's all a load of crap, or you go and you get a fucking like AR-15 and bust into a pizza shop. And let's hope that, you know, that's what we need to fight against, folks, right? Be the voice of reason out there, right? Debunk this shit, okay? Because it's fucking, you know, dangerous and it can cost lives. So, adios.